Welcome to my channel. World Scene News. Subscribe to my channel for news updates all around the world. The humid Caribbean air at Homestead Air Reserve Base was shattered by the klaxon shriek, scramble. The base, usually alive with the steady rhythm of daily operations, was suddenly electrified by the alarm. In an instant, the calm of the early morning was replaced by a sense of urgency that rippled through every hangar and hallway. The rising sun cast long shadows across the tarmac, illuminating the silhouettes of aircraft and personnel as they sprang into motion. Lieutenant Colonel William "Whip" Parks sprang into action, grabbing his helmet and racing to his F-16C. Every second counted. The adrenaline surge was familiar, but the stakes always felt new. He could hear the pounding of his own boots on the concrete, echoing the urgency of the call. Around him, other pilots and crew members moved with practiced efficiency, each person knowing their role in this high-stakes ballet. The mission was clear: intercept unidentified aircraft harassing the USS Jason Dunham near Venezuelan airspace. The destroyer, a vital piece of the Navy's presence in these contested waters, had sent out a distress call. Parks knew that any misstep here could escalate into an international incident. The gravity of the situation pressed on him, but he focused on the task at hand. Details were scarce, but the urgency was clear. The only certainty was that time was running out. Parks exchanged a quick, meaningful glance with his wingman. No words needed. The air was thick with anticipation, every member of the team aware that this was more than a routine patrol. Parks's years of training kicked in as he suited up, ground crew prepping the jet with practice speed. The ritual of donning the flight suit, strapping on the G-suit, and checking his gear was second nature by now. The ground crew moved with silent coordination, loading equipment and running final checks, their faces set with determination. This was no drill. Every movement was precise, the tension electric. The air crackled with the knowledge that real lives and real consequences hung in the balance. Parks could feel the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders, but he welcomed it. This was what he had trained for. Parks climbed into the cockpit, the world narrowing to the mission ahead. The familiar confines of the F-16 became his universe, every switch and display a tool for survival. He ran through his pre-flight checklist, hands steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. The controller's voice crackled over the radio, updated coordinates, a sensitive zone near disputed waters. The tension in the control tower was palpable, every operator focused on the unfolding situation. Parks listened intently, committing every detail to memory. The USS Jason Dunham had reported 2 aircraft making aggressive passes. The destroyer's crew was on high alert, scanning the skies for any sign of threat. Parks knew that the Navy was counting on the Air Force to provide a shield, to prevent a dangerous encounter from spiraling out of control. Parks' orders were simple but daunting: intercept, identify, de-escalate, if possible, be ready for anything. The rules of engagement were clear, but the situation could change in an instant. He reviewed his mission plan one last time, mentally preparing for every possible scenario. With final checks complete, he signaled readiness. The ground crew responded with a crisp salute, their confidence in him unwavering. Parks took a deep breath, centering himself for what was to come. The F-16's engine roared to life, vibrating through his body. The familiar hum built to a thunderous crescendo, a sound that always sent a jolt of energy through him. The jet was more than a machine. It was an extension of his will, ready to leap into the sky at his command. Viper 1 and his wingman, Viper 2, taxied out for a combat air patrol with real stakes. The 2 jets moved in perfect unison, a testament to the countless hours of training and trust between the pilots. They were a team, prepared to face whatever awaited them beyond the runway. Flying near Venezuela was always a delicate dance. Tensions high, unpredictability constant. The political landscape was as volatile as the weather, and every mission carried the risk of miscalculation. Parks reminded himself to stay sharp, to read every signal and respond with both strength and restraint. The tower cleared them for immediate takeoff. The moment of action had arrived. As the F-16s surged down the runway and lifted into the sky, Parks felt the weight of the mission settle into focus. Ahead lay uncertainty, but also the chance to make a difference, to protect lives, uphold peace, and answer the call to action. Parks pushed the throttle forward, the F-16 surging down the runway. Afterburner engaged, the jet leapt forward, acceleration brutal and exhilarating. Wheels up, he banked hard southeast, climbing aggressively. Florida shrank below, his wingman tight in formation. The climb was steep. Get to altitude, get safe, get ready. Inside, Parks scanned displays, hands never leaving the controls. Fuel, navigation, radar, everything checked, everything green. No time for sightseeing. His mind was on the mission. Reports suggested Venezuelan F-16s, old adversaries, new risks. He pushed past the speed of sound, the jet shuddering as it broke the barrier. Only the hum of the engine and the crackle of the radio remained. At supersonic speed, Parks's F-16 became a silver dart over the Caribbean, slicing through the humid air with a thunderous roar. The world below blurred into a tapestry of turquoise and deep blue, the islands scattered like emeralds across the sea. Every control input was met with an instant response, the jet alive beneath his hands, its afterburner blazing a trail of fire across the sky. The F-16 streaked above the Caribbean, its sleek frame shimmering in the sunlight, leaving a vapor trail that lingered in the warm air. Parks felt the raw power of the engine vibrating through the cockpit, a constant reminder of the machine's potential and the responsibility it demanded. Far below, the endless expanse of water seemed peaceful, but up here, every second was charged with anticipation. Parks scanned the horizon, eyes sharp, mind focused, adrenaline coursing through his veins as he pushed the jet to its limits. 30,000 feet up, the earth curved below, the ocean painted gold by the setting sun. The sky was a canvas of orange and violet, the fading light casting long shadows across the cockpit. It was a view few ever witnessed, a reminder of both the beauty and the isolation of flight at this altitude. Parks was in the zone, the jet an extension of his will. Every movement was precise, every decision calculated. He felt the weight of the mission, but also the thrill of mastery, the sense that he and the F-16 were one. Updates from AWACS punctuated the silence, painting a picture of the airspace ahead. The calm, steady voices relayed vital information, altitude changes, possible contacts, weather patterns, each detail sharpening Parks' awareness of the invisible threats that could be lurking beyond the horizon. His HUD projected vital data, altitude, speed, heading, keeping his eyes outside, searching. The green glow of the display was a lifeline, translating the chaos of the sky into clear, actionable information. Parks trusted it, but he trusted his instincts more. The F-16's radar swept ahead, hunting for electronic signatures. It was a silent guardian, probing the darkness for any sign of danger, ready to alert Parks to the slightest anomaly. Every minute mattered. The USS Jason Dunham was waiting. The ship's crew depended on Parks to clear the skies, to keep their mission safe as they sailed into uncertain waters. The coast of South America appeared as a faint line on the horizon, a distant promise of land after endless ocean. Parks steadied his grip on the stick, ready for whatever came next, knowing that in this moment, he was the tip of the spear. The Venezuelan F-16s Parks might face were relics, first acquired in 1983, once the pride of their air force. Years of embargo and political rifts left them cannibalizing grounded jets for parts. Only a handful remained airworthy, maintained by desperate measures. Their combat history was brief. Today they served mostly as symbols. These aging jets lacked modern upgrades, but their pilots were still determined. Parks knew he was facing ghosts of the past, still dangerous, but diminished. The encounter would be a test of old machines and new resolve. Parks' F-16C Block 50 was a different beast from the Venezuelan F-16ABs. His jet boasted advanced radar, superior avionics, and a more powerful engine. The Venezuelan jet's outdated systems meant Parks could see them first, track them longer, and outmaneuver them. His cockpit was a digital command center, theirs, a relic of the analog age. Weapons made the difference stark. Parks had long-range AMRAAMs, they had only old Sidewinders. The tactical advantage was clear, but Parks respected any adversary in the sky. Even an old jet, in skilled hands, could be a threat. Confidence, not arrogance, guided him. The coming encounter would test technology, training, and nerve. Parks prepared for anything. Parks closed in on the red line marking Venezuelan claimed airspace. Crossing it could spark an international incident. He'd get close, but not cross. Suddenly 2 radar contacts appeared, 80 miles out. Viper 1, I have 2 contacts, bearing 190, range 80 miles, he reported. AWACS confirmed. Venezuelan Vipers, the same jets harassing the Dunham. The tension spiked. These were now bandits, not just bogeys. Parks and his wingman adjusted course, intercepting parallel to the border. The goal? Show presence, not provoke. 2 modern US F-16s on scene sent a clear message. Parks armed his weapons, checked countermeasures, ready for escalation, hoping for calm. The distance closed, 70, 60, 50 miles. The high-speed chess match was on. At 40 miles, the Venezuelan F-16s turned toward Parks, a clear challenge. Parks stayed calm, maintaining a parallel course to avoid escalation. His wingmen shifted to combat spread, covering each other's blind spots. The two formations closed at over 1,500 miles Soundera, tension at its peak. Parks's thumb hovered over the weapons switch, ready for anything. At 15 miles, the Venezuelan jets broke off, turning south. They recognized the tactical disadvantage: two modern F-16s, AWACS support, far from home. The test was over. The line held. Parks watched them retreat, tension easing. No shots fired, no mistakes. Just a silent, high-stakes standoff. The crisis had been averted. Parks took a steadying breath, eyes still on the sky. The mission wasn't over yet. Even as the Venezuelan jets retreated, Parks stayed alert. In aerial combat, a retreat can be a ruse. He and his wingman kept radar locked, ready for any sudden move. Parks mentally rehearsed high G-turns and countermeasures, chaff, flares, beaming. The F-16's design and his training made survival instinctive. Every maneuver was calculated, every second counted. Calm under pressure, Parks relied on muscle memory and discipline. In the sky, preparation was everything. With the Venezuelan F-16s finally turning south and heading home, the immediate threat to the USS Jason Dunham and her crew was gone. The tension that had gripped the air just moments before began to dissipate, replaced by a cautious sense of relief. The skies, once filled with the possibility of conflict, now seemed vast and peaceful again. The USS Jason Dunham, still vigilant but now at ease, reported clear skies and no further contact. Parks's mission, protecting the ship and maintaining the fragile peace, was a clear success. The destroyer's crew, aware of how close things had come, could finally breathe easy. Parks keyed his radio, voice steady but betraying a hint of relief. Magic, Viper 1. Bandits are feet dry, heading south. Situation stable. No shots fired. The words carried the weight of responsibility, but also the satisfaction of a job well done. From high above, the AWACS controller replied, "Copy, Viper 1. Excellent work. Return to base." The calm professionalism in the response was a reminder of the teamwork and trust that held these missions together. Relief washed over Parks as he and his wingman banked north, leaving the tension behind. The adrenaline of the encounter faded, replaced by a quiet pride in their discipline and restraint. They'd protected a vital U.S. asset and avoided a dangerous escalation. Professional, not celebratory. There were no high fives or cheers, just the silent acknowledgement of a mission accomplished and the knowledge that their actions had kept the peace, at least for today. The sun dipped low over the Caribbean, painting the sky in gold and crimson as the jets cruised home. The tension of the day slowly faded with the light, replaced by a sense of calm and reflection. Parks reflected on the encounter, on the razor-thin line between adversary and fellow aviator. He knew the Venezuelan pilots were professionals too, each of them carrying out their orders, each hoping to avoid the unthinkable. The line between peace and conflict was thin, patrolled by pilots like him on both sides. Every day, they flew that line, making split-second decisions that could change the course of events for nations. As the Florida coastline appeared, city lights twinkling in the dusk, Parks prepared for landing. The approach was smooth, every movement precise, a testament to training and focus, even after a long, tense mission. On the tarmac, ground crew guided the jets in, their faces showing quiet respect. Fellow pilots and support staff welcomed Parks and his wingman back, understanding the gravity of what had just been avoided. Parks climbed out of his jet, the cool evening air a sharp contrast to the cockpit's intensity. In under 2 hours, he'd flown to the edge of conflict and back, carrying the weight of responsibility and the hope for peace. For a fighter pilot, it was just another day at the office, a day defined not by combat, but by the courage to hold the line and the discipline to keep the peace.